Okay, folks, welcome to Friday Waffle time once more. How are you doing? Hope you're all fine. I'm all right. Bit tired. Had quite a busy week. What have I been up to? Trying to think, what was I doing last weekend? Not a great deal. Don't think I did anything exciting at all. This week, oh God, I can't remember. I was actually down in Swindon. That's where I've got an office down there, so I've got to go down once a month. It's not too bad. I mean, the hotel they put me up in is pretty nice, which makes a difference. They've got like a swimming pool. I say swimming pool. It's tiny, but it does have a swimming pool. More importantly, it has a sauna, which I do like, and also a steam room as well. And this week it was a bit different because my boss, he's actually moved house and he's now based at home. So he was in the office, so he was staying overnight, and one of the guys that we work, like any consultant guy, he was there as well. So there was the three of us, had a good laugh. Actually went to the gym for about an hour, absolutely killed me. And yeah, we went for a meal, had a nice sirloin steak, which was rather tasty. So yeah, hopefully you notice a new slimline me. It's not a diet as such, it's a fast, and it's not as severe as you think it's going to be. And the idea behind it is you 12 o'clock midday, you can have your lunch, and then you have your dinner, but between 12 and 6, that's when you eat food. After 6, then you don't eat any food until 12 o'clock the following day. So the idea behind that is it means that you're eating food, for these 6 hours. Obviously, you're not sitting stuffing your face for 6 hours. You still have a lunch, and then you have your dinner. And then the 18 hours out with that period, you're not eating anything. They even tell you not to take any drink, coffee, and all that. Just drink tons and tons of water. So I've been doing that now for about 3 weeks, and I think I've lost about half a stone, which has been pretty good. And that's not me exercising or anything. I mean, I am quite lucky, I have to say. I mean, whilst like anyone else, I can put weight on, I do lose it fairly easily, which is good. So yeah, I kind of went off the wagon a wee bit when I was away in Swindon, but back on it again. So yeah, it's just water and plenty more water. So that was that. Tonight, which is actually Thursday, so when you're watching this on Friday, this is last night. I was meant to be going to the computer club, as you probably know. I go to It's a local computer club, which has been going on now for about, God, I'm trying to think when it started. It'll probably be coming up to about 15 years we've been doing this thing. Um, Great. It's always great fun. I mean, in the early days, it was all proper hardware, genuine hardware, Spectrums, Commodore 64s, all that kind of stuff. Now it's turned into a bit of it's Misters and Retro Pies and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? It doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me in the slightest because it's all about the games. It's not about. I mean, it's nice to look at a proper Commodore 64 or whatever. But it's all about the games, and you know, I always take along my Mister because that way you've got access to about I don't know about 100 systems, all the games and that kind of stuff. And it's like I said, it's about playing the games, so it's great. I mean, it was nice in the early days because people were all taking along some really obscure hardware. I mean, I took along. The funny thing was, in one of the very first meetings we did, I actually took along my it was my cocktail MAME cab. And yeah, I mean, it took like two people to carry it. And when I got there, it didn't work, and that was because the motherboard had moved and it was actually sitting on top of a nail. So yeah, that wasn't really recommended. But no, the computer club is great, but I think there was a double booking or something, so we've not been able to go tonight. I think we're hopefully going to try and pull it in for September. So if you're local, by the way, to where I stay and you fancy coming along, drop me a message because it's great. Where else can you go along with like-minded people for about 3, 4 hours and just play video games? And thing is, a lot of the time is spent just talking about anything. But I always really, really enjoy it. So I don't have any questions. Well, I've got one question from Colin Jones, which I'll answer shortly. Um, I mentioned, when did I mention it? Yeah, I did. In fact, yeah, I completely forgot. On Tuesday of this week, or was it Monday this week? I did a live stream with Dell on his channel. It was really good fun. There was quite a few people asking questions and what have you, and I said to Dale, I said I'm actually quite looking forward to it, and it sounds a bit kind of weird because I've recently sort of knocked live streams on the head. I've not knocked them in the head for good. It's just a kind of temporary thing. Um, and he says, "Well, you've knocked live streams in the head, and yet you want to come on to a live stream in my channel." And there's kind of two reasons. Well, one main reason is it's a different audience. So I equate my channel and live streams on my channel to like being at home and telling my girlfriend the same story over and over and over again, and she'll be like, "You've told me that, stop telling me the same story." And that's what I kind of find with my live streams now. I've said everything I can say on my YouTube channel, but being on somebody else's channel, it's a new audience. I mean, granted, there is quite a kind of few duplicates. There's quite a few people that watch my channel that also watch Dell's, and they were kind of taking part in it as well. But it was great because it was a brand new platform for me, and it was actually quite nice to not have to like lead the questions because and I said that to Dell. I says it's the first time that I've actually been on anyone else's channel, which kind of makes me a wee bit sad. I've been doing YouTube now for, 11 years. 2013 I started, and I've only ever been on really that one channel. I think I might have appeared briefly on a couple of channels, but very, very rare, if at all, that I actually get asked. So if you've got a YouTube channel and you want to get me on it for a laugh just to talk about stuff, hit me up because I would probably be more than up for that. So I really enjoyed it. It was great. We had to kind of keep it to 2 hours because I know Dell's streams do tend to go on a wee bit. They can, I think they've run for about 5, 6 hours. Sometimes. We had to stick regimentally to 2 hours because I was up early because I was flying to Swindon in the morning. But it was great. Really enjoyed it, and I did say to Craig, if he wants me back on at some point, I'll be more than up for that. But yeah, so not doing live streams. I'm enjoying the rest from it. I know some people were, you know, disappointed that they wouldn't be getting a Sunday live stream and that kind of stuff. But the thing is, there's other channels out there. 20th Century Gaming. My mate Mark, he does streams on Twitch and that kind of stuff. But more importantly for me, I'm enjoying not having to do them, and I've really enjoyed making videos. I mean, I put out a video this week I should say. Um, that was the year that was Commodore 64 in 1984. I put it out as a premiere, um, because I wanted to take part because it was such a long video. I wanted to take part in the kind of the chat, so it was good fun. I think I watched about the first maybe half an hour, 40 minutes, and then I said, "Look, I'm getting out here. I'll let you guys crack on." Um, what do you think of that? I mean, I have had a few comments in general about some of the stuff I was talking about. I did mention that video took me hours. It took me hours to make. There was about 150 games to record and edit and the voiceover, so it took me a long time. It's one of the kind of the most time consuming videos I've put out for a long, long time. I mean, it's got some pretty good views, which is great because there is nothing worse. Well, there's lots of things worse than this. I mean, like getting your toenails pulled off with pliers, being fed to sharks, um, going to I don't know, a Taylor Swift concert, whatever. So there's lots of things worse than this, but this is up there on the worst things ever, and it's you make a video that takes you a long time to put together, to produce, to edit, to actually physically make, and then you get very few people watch it, and even less people comment on it, and then you're like, why did I bother? But for me, don't get me wrong, I make these videos because I enjoy making them. But then on the flip side, you can put out a video that is extremely quick to make. It didn't take up a lot of time or anything, no real involvement or hard work, and it can prove way more popular. But what I would ask is, please don't think that this is, I want you to pat my back and say, oh, that was like a fantastic video. But I want, what I don't want to do is continue to make videos that people don't enjoy or whatever, because whilst it's all about me, it's about me enjoying stuff. I don't want to put content out that people don't enjoy. So I want to know, what's and all. I want to know, did you enjoy the video? Is it too long? Is it too short? Um, was there any comments, good or bad? I mean, I don't mind. I absolutely don't mind negative comments as long as they're constructively negative. If you thought, well, I don't know, you didn't spend long enough. I mean, there was 100, I think it was about 156 games, and I spent 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Listen to me. I spent each game got 30 seconds. When I first started recording it, I thought I'll give it 2 minutes. And then I realised, wait a minute, 2 minutes times 50 is going to be, what would that be, 150 minutes? No, 100 minutes, which is going to be, no, what am I talking about? 155 times 2, that's going to be 300 minutes. That's going to be 3 hours or more. No, it's going to be about bloody 5 hours, whatever it is. It's going to be far too long. So I knocked it back to 30 seconds, which doesn't sound like a long time. But I think when you've got that many videos getting shown, I think 30 seconds is enough. So please, just if you watched it, go in, tell me what you thought of it. Was it good? Was it bad? Was there anything that I could change about it? Let me know. Um, what else? What else? What else? Yeah, I mentioned in Dale's stream that I bought a new bit of hardware, and it was something that I'd I'd sold something similar a few years ago, and it's a Spectrum Next. No, I didn't buy the Spectrum Next, but just bear with me. I got the Spectrum Next through Kickstarter whenever it first came out. Can't remember. It was a long time ago, and I made a video at the time and I said, oh, it's the best thing ever. It's a fantastic thing. And I still stand by that video. I still stand by that the Spectrum Next is a beautiful machine. It's really classy. It's quite exciting getting a new computer. The problem was it was sat behind me, that table that you can see that's a bit blurred. It was sat on that table for the best part of 2 years, and I think I'd played it like twice. Um, and the demand for the Spectrum Next just went through the roof. They were selling for daft money. So I just thought to myself, you know what? I don't need to have that. I've got my Mister. Did I have my Mister at that point? No, I didn't actually. But I've got a thing called Just Specky, which is a kind of newly created Spectrum, so I can play modern games in that. So I sold it. I mean, I sold it for about, I don't know. I paid about 200 quid for it, and I think I sold it for about 250. So I made a wee bit of money on it. But I don't know why. It was either a YouTube video or something piqued my interest in the Spectrum Next. And I thought, I wonder how much they're going for. And they're going for, I mean, it's just stupid. There's people selling them for 800 quid, and I'd love to think that nobody's that gullible and pay that amount of money, because whilst it's a nice bit of hardware, it's absolutely not worth £800. I think the cheapest I saw was about, I don't know, 450, 500. There was no way I was going to pay that. And then I remember one of my friends he was selling a ZX Spectrum clone, um, about 6 months ago. So I went onto Discord and messaged him. I said, "Have you still got that?" And he went, "I have." So I bought that, and yeah, it's lovely. It's lovely. It does look different from the next. It's got a different keyboard, but you know what? It is it is a next motherboard inside, or not motherboard, PCB, whatever you want to call it. It's 150 million% compatible. It's a Spectrum Next in a different case. And the beauty of this one is it costs a fraction of what the Next costs. So what I'm going to do actually after I finish recording this Friday Waffle, I'm going to go and record a video, let you see what it's about. Because yeah, if you wanted to get a Next, then you're going to have to either, I don't think they're going to have a third Kickstarter. You're going to have to pay a lot of money. So I'm going to put a video out for that so you can watch that when it comes out. But yeah, that's kind of it, folks. I've not really got very much to talk about. I've got one question from Colin. Let's have a look. My question for Nick's Waffle is, what are your favourite Polygon 3D Amiga games? Think of the style of No Second Prize or Frontier, but any genre. Now, Colin's just mentioned one of my favourite Amiga games in that genre, and it's got to be No Second Prize. It's a it's a motorbike racing game. It's very difficult. I mean, looking at it now, it's very, very kind of basic looking. But then any Polygon games from the 1990s do look basic. But what set it apart back in the day was just how fast and how smooth it was. I mean, it was very, very minimal. There's not a lot of kind of obstacles going on. I will hopefully put a little video letting you see it as I'm talking about it. Great game. Another game which I never played a lot, but I used to like just kind of messing about with it. Was, what do you call it, Starglider 2. A lot of people say the original Starglider is the better game. The original is obviously vector graphics. The second one was polygons, but it was really smooth again. It was fast, and yeah, you could fly about on like sort of planets, but then you could take off. You could fly up into space, and you had, what was it, space whales or something. It was really atmospheric. Imagine a whale in space with its kind of cry, and really the kind of, it's, yeah, really atmospheric, worth checking out. Another game that I played a lot on the Amiga was Elite, the original Elite. I mean, I played it a ton on the C64. And then it obviously made the next step, and it had filled in polygon graphics. Really nice. Some people still say if you're going to play, what do you call it, Elite, you've got to play the Vector version. But the Amiga one is lovely. Any other 3D games? I mean, what other ones were there? There was things like Hunter, which I never really got into. I think there's a lot of sort of filled in 3D polygons where there were flight simulators, which I never really got to grips with. I never had the patience to play these. I just remembered one when I was talking there, and I've completely forgot what it was. 4D boxing, yeah, remember that one. Um, I'm going to put a wee video to that just now as well. It looks ugly as anything now, but you need to remember this was like 1990, 1991, 1992. It was like three-dimensional, so it was a step up from. It was a definite step up from like 2D boxing games like Frank Bruno's Boxing or whatever. But yeah, I did play that a lot. Um, oh, what else? There must have been other stuff. There would be quite a few. One game which I always thought looked nice, and I wish I could play it, but it was too damned hard. And it's actually one of Lacosa's favourite games, and it's Power Drome, which was think of kind of itchy lip. Think of like Wipeout for the Amiga, and that's kind of what that was. Really pretty looking game, but again, it was. I think you could use a joystick, but you could also use the mouse, and it was really mega sensitive. Um, and if it hadn't been for that, it would have been an excellent game. Maybe I'm just shite, but I think the reviews at the time did say that it was too kind of difficult to play. One game that I've just remembered there just now, and it's got to be, yeah, it's got to be the best Amiga 3D polygon game, and it's a Stunt Car Racer. What a game that was, or is. It still plays. It's one of these games that I still go back and play. Um, Apparently, if you've got like an accelerated Amiga, it plays even better. It plays faster. It plays smoother. And the wonderful thing about, obviously, I don't have an Amiga. I sold my Amiga 1200 a couple of years ago. Don't regret it at all because I've got the Mister. But yeah, you can increase the speed. You can make it faster, make it smoother. So Stunt Car Racer is an absolute Stonewall classic. And a game which was mentioned in one of my videos fairly recently. I did a video all about New Star Grand Prix, or GP I think it's called, and I proclaimed that to be the best Formula One game. And a couple of people said that that wasn't the case. They reckoned that Jeff Crammond's Formula One Grand Prix 2 was the best one. Now, I don't remember. I really can't recall the second one. I remember the first one, it came on 4 discs, but I've not got any recollection of the second one. I'll need to have a look. I will need to have a wee look and see what the fuss was about. But again, yeah, these were like kind of early polygons, and yeah, I mean, Formula One Grand Prix was groundbreaking, as was Stunt Car Racer. So yeah, I think there was probably tons more, Colin. Without seeing a list of games, that's all I can kind of think of. So anyway, like, listen, It's a short waffle. You're used to that. It's either that or nothing. Well, I'm gonna blame you folks for that because last week I don't mind, or I can understand when I do a live waffle. People that watch it live are not going to then post a question for me, which I understand. But if I'm doing one of these pre-recorded waffles, then there is no excuse. If you watch it, there's no excuse to not leave me a question or a topic. And I've said this quite a few times. If I've got nothing to talk about, I'm not going to do a waffle. I had one question. Stevie Paperboy 154 did say hi Al. I don't know whether he forgot to put the question, but that's all it said. So Stevie, if that was you, I didn't I didn't see a question. Colin obviously asked me one, and Colin does tend to kind of ask me questions, which is good. But if you want to see, if you want the waffle to continue, ask me questions. If you don't, it's you're not going to get waffles. So it's over to you folks to keep kind of feeding me. I've just remembered something I'm going to talk about very briefly before I let you go and get your takeaway or whatever your food of choice for a Friday night is. Zap Live. I was there last year. It's down in a place called Kenilworth. Um, it was really disappointing for a number of reasons. They had 2 rooms. One was filled with Commodore Amigas. One were filled with Commodore 64s. There was no real theme or anything at all about the games they had running on it. The biggest criticism, I should say, of the original Zap was the room that they had only seated about, I think it was something like 30 people. Now, there was, I think, was it 500 or was it 300? I can't remember. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say 300. There was 300 people paid good money to go into the talks, because that was the main draw, getting to see people who were kind of, back in the day. And yet only 30 people could get in, which meant 270 people couldn't get in. So I left Zap Live very disappointed. Even the nighttime thing was a bit crap. I wasn't a fan of it. But fast forward 12 months, and Zap Live was on. It was just the weekend gone past. My mate Dale, he was there, and yeah, he was. I think, in fact, Sir Lancelot, another one of my friends who kind of watches my channel, he was there as well. I think they didn't meet and say hello. But it looks a lot better. What they did was the room that they had the Amiga set up in, they swapped that for the talks room. So the Amiga had a far smaller room, but the talks room was a bit bigger. But saying that, it still only held, I think, 50 odd people, which again, when you think about how many people were paying to see these talks, they couldn't get in. But I would love to have been there because Rob Hubbard was there, and he's a legend. What can you say about Rob Hubbard? If you're a C64 man, you'll know who he is. He's a huge part of the reason that people like me and other people talk about these systems. I was quite shocked at how thin Rob Hubbard looked. He didn't look well. I know my mate Dale did say that he has got an illness. He wasn't prepared to say what it was, but yeah, he didn't look well. He looked very, very gaunt. So I hope whatever it is he's got, that it's only temporary and he makes a full recovery. Because I would, yeah, it would have been. I would have liked to have been there. Jeff Minter was there again, and I think they had was it the full Heart of Neon film you got to see, or was it just another preview? And I noticed Jeff did one of his famous light shows, which is always fantastic. I've been to a couple of these in the past; they're always really good. But here's a tip to Chris Wilkins and Co, the guys that run this. Why don't you have a ticket price to get into the event, but then why don't you charge £5 for each of the talks and tell people there's a maximum of 50 tickets per talk, so that if you buy one, you're guaranteed to get in. If you don't buy one, you don't get in. And that way it'll mean that people that have paid the extra money will get in to see these talks. Because, for somebody like myself, from where I stay down to Kenilworth, it's a long, long way. You're talking about 7 hours driving. I know there's people that came from even further afield. I think there was people from abroad and that kind of stuff. But if you've made such an effort to get to an event and you've paid good money for a hotel or whatever it is, and then you go to the event and then you can't get in to see who you want to see, that would be pretty upsetting. So why don't, for a future event, why don't you just sell the talks separately? Don't make it 15 quid. Don't be greedy. Make it £5. And then that way, first come, first served. If you're too late, that's fine. That would be the fairest way to do it, and that way people that have paid the money are going to actually get to see it. But yeah, if Rob Hubbard's back next year, I might try and put a word in my mate's Dale's ear, because he kindly put me up last year. I can maybe stay over by him next year if he allows. So, right, anyway, folks, I'm going to get going. I want to get this other video recorded where I look at this ZX Spectrum next. Please let me know what you thought of the 1984. That was the year that was. Let me know if you thought it was any good. Is there anything that you don't like about it? What I can change? Because if I will use the criticism or the positive feedback and try and give you guys a better product. I mean, can't say fairer than that. So, right, listen, I'm going to get going. I hope you all have a really good weekend. Remember, there won't be a live stream on Sunday. I will tell you if I'm going to do a live stream. I don't plan to do one this Sunday. But you never know, because I'm actually on holiday on Monday. It's a bank holiday. So if I'm going to do it, I will put a wee comment. But like I says, don't hold your breath. So anyway, until next time, folks, as always, thank you so much for watching. See you later.